What's going on, guys? Today I want to do a quick video, hopefully. Ready, set, go 4.3. So we're just going to extend our thinking on piecewise functions and absolute value functions and go from there. But to get us rolling, the ready portion says find the x-intercepts of the following quadratics. So hopefully you look at 1 through 3 and you're thinking of either factoring or quadratic formula. So even though we're not really working on those things specifically right now, there's still things that you don't want to forget how to do. Okay, you're definitely going to have to do them again in the next math class. Okay, so by the way, look at problem number 3. You can't factor that. I never showed you how to factor something like that, and you definitely shouldn't have that on your paper. You should see quadratic formula. Okay, so make sure that you are using the proper things and don't use photo math, guys. Too many of you guys are getting bad grades because you're cheating. Just give it a shot, even if you get it wrong. All right, 4 through 6, you're not doing either one of those methods, right? They're all in vertex form, so you're just solving by taking square roots for x by square rooting, okay? So pretty much you're just solving it the same way you would any other equation by isolating x, but don't forget to plus or minus, right? Don't forget to plus or minus. All right. Now, the set portion always has to do with the task itself. So use the given information to write the indicated form of the function. Okay, so number 7 just gives a table, for example. And it says, now take this table and write a piecewise function. Okay, my recommendation, if I saw a table like this, is I would start plotting points on a graph, right? I would plot -1, 9, 0, 6, 1, 3, 2, 0. I'd plot them all on a graph. And then I would use that information so I could see what was going on and see the domain. But if you could do it a different way, cool. Remember, a piecewise equation is one that looks like this and has the domain on one side and the equation on the other, right? So make sure you're always doing it from left to right on the graph, or from smallest x value to biggest x value. All right. So for example, we're just going to go through these, and it tells you, like number 7 said piecewise equation, but it gave you a table. So you're going to give whatever it says. Number 8, it gives you a graph. You're going to give the absolute value equation. You're going to give an equation in the form x minus h plus k, right? I always want to put a squared there because it's so much like a quadratic. Next one, number 9, make a table for the equation. So if I give you an equation, how could you make a table? Think about number 9 for a second. Number 9 has a table already made, x and h of x. And then you can put whatever values you want. So I think that you should maybe put -3 all the way to +3. Make sure your table has this in it. That's how I know you watched the video, right? And then just plug in values. So I'll do one for you. I'm going to do the easiest one because that's what I do. So if the equation is 5 absolute value x minus 6 minus 8, we're going to plug in these x values. So go ahead and plug in 0 for all the x's. Okay, 5 times absolute value 0 minus 6 minus 8, and then we just solve this, right? So absolute value is just like parentheses whenever you solve stuff. So solve inside it first. Now we have 5 absolute value -6 because 0 minus 6 is -6. But absolute value of -6 actually equals 6. So now this says 5 times 6 minus 8. Okay. And now we have 30 minus 8. And now we get 22, right? So now I have this table, and now you guys can figure out the rest of the values by just plugging in the other values here. Remember, treat it like parentheses. So solve inside it first, and then go ahead and take the absolute value before you do anything else. I got +6, and then I was able to solve the rest. All right, 10 says to graph the piecewise function. So that one gives you the domain. So basically, if you look at it, hopefully you realize this is actually an absolute value function. And we talked about where the vertex is in this and where the axis of symmetry is in this, right? So there's the set portion, guys. All right, the go portion, this is evaluate each expression for the given value of the variable. So Very, very simple. All you do is, for example, the first one just says the equation's negative s. And then it tells you s equals 4. So you take whatever the equation tells you, this is number 11, whatever it tells you, and you plug it in for the variable. So everywhere you see an s, you're going to plug in a 4. Okay, this turns into negative 4, right? Negative 4. So what does this equal? Well, this equals, now you could write it as negative 4. But basically, anytime you plug in something, you always want to put it in parentheses. So negative, and then now you plug in s, and so now it becomes negative 4. Anyway, same thing, for example, I'm just going to toss number 18 up there. What would that one look like? You have the absolute value, negative p. Remember, p is negative 6, so just go ahead and plug it in there, negative 6, okay? And then close the original parentheses, and then close the absolute value, right? So all I did was inside these parentheses, I plugged in my p, and then these parentheses were here, and these absolute values were here. And now you go ahead and just solve this. Whenever you solve it, it's always kind of inside out, right? So now we have negative 6, but then times a negative 1, and then times a negative 1. So what is negative 6 times negative 1? 6. And then 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. So now really inside the absolute value we have negative 6. But what's the answer? Positive 6, because the absolute value can always never can be negative. It always has to be positive. All right, guys, that's how you do this entire Ready, Set, Go. Please ask if you're stuck. The most important part is the set. So while you're in class, you guys should really be trying to do the set, because that's the stuff we've been working on in class, and that's what you should be hopefully getting help on if you need it. Have a great day, guys.